If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. One of the things I do on this channel, in addition to showing signs and symbols, exposing these satanic cabals and everything else, is I try to show you repetition in the news for predictive programming, seed planting, and that really just goes based off seeing and hearing the same narratives or the same potential things that could occur in the future, and then starting to realize, okay, there's possibly seed planting here. Now, that doesn't mean that this is true or going to happen, but I wanted to do a video on it because I've seen it so many times now, and it makes a lot of sense. When I first started my channel, I actually thought Obama was going to figure out a way to stay in for a third term. I didn't see ahead how perfect it was to transition into Trump, okay? To do all this order out of chaos first, because there wouldn't be order out of chaos with Obama in office. Obama's the one who's supposed to bring peace and love, right? And there's a lot of people who believe Obama is the Antichrist. And that wouldn't surprise me one bit. But he would have to become ruler again, right? Or president again. And one of the things I've seen with predictive programming recently with Trump is the talk about a third term. Trump said it out of his own mouth. Obama has had this rivalry with Trump for so long. It's like a wrestling, it's like watching pro wrestling, right? They never faced off head to head, but they can't stand each other. They're always jabbing at each other. And then you got Biden running, his buddy, his vice president, who's probably going to lose the selection because more chaos and disorder will come with Trump remaining in office. But listening to Trump out of his own mouth hint at it, Obama even discussed how he would win a third term. And then even recently, I believe his name is Michael Cohen, one of these Trump guys, talking about how it's very likely that Trump will try to change the Constitution after the election. And, obviously people who are on the right will love that, thinking that, oh, he can get another term. The liberals ruined the first term. You could listen to it all for yourself, and then we'll talk about it. So take a listen.
In 78 days, we're going to stop the radical left. We're going to win the state of Wisconsin, and we are going to win 4 more years. And then after that, we'll go for another 4 years because, you know what, they spied on my campaign. We should get a redo of 4 years.
I love my work. But under our Constitution, I cannot run again. I can't run again. I actually think I'm a pretty good president. I think if I ran, I could win. But I can't. So there's a lot that I'd like to do to keep America moving, but the law is the law. And no one person is above the law, not even the president.
Well, President Obama says he could have done what Hillary Clinton did not, beat Donald Trump in the election and win a third term. But the president-elect, though, taking to Twitter to answer, basically saying, what? Really? No way. Good morning, everyone. I'm Eric Shawn in for Bill Hemmer this morning. We are live in America's newsroom.
And I'm Patty Ann Brown in for Martha McCallum. So President Obama granting one of the final interviews of his presidency to a former top advisor, David Axelrod. Mr. Obama saying he believes the country supports his vision of progressive change and that he could have won if he had been allowed to run again. Listen.
I'm confident that if I had run again and articulated it, I think I could have mobilized a majority of the American people to rally behind it. I know that in conversations that I've had with people around the country, even some people who disagreed with me, they would say the vision, the direction that you point towards is the right one.
And Peter Doocy is covering the President-elect Trump, who is at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida. So, Peter, how is Mr. Trump responding to the president's pretty boastful claims this morning?
Eric, he doesn't think much of President Obama as a political scientist. So the president-elect took to his Twitter handle to say this: President Obama said that he thinks he would have won against me. He should say that, but I say no way. Jobs leaving, ISIS, O'Care, etc. And the president-elect is also now turning part of President Obama's famous slogan about hope and change against him to make a comment about the country he's about to inherit. So in another tweet, Mr. Trump says this: the world was gloomy before I won. There was no hope. Now the market is up nearly 10%, and Christmas spending is over $1 trillion. The statements from the outgoing president and the incoming president show that their relationship has really evolved or devolved, because even though the two targeted each other on the campaign trail for months, 2 days after the election they had that friendly Oval Office meeting where President Obama promised to help make the transition to White House life as easy as possible for the Trumps. The two men then began regularly talking on the phone. But something changed, because a few days ago, as Trump continued to get a lot more attention than President Obama for moves that he was making, the Obama administration's Deputy National Security Advisor, Ben Rhodes, said there's just one president at a time, and now President Obama is suggesting he thinks that one president at a time should be him for another 4 years.
Sounding the alarm that this may not be a peaceful transition of power. Why do you say that?
Well, I said that again.
If he does win.
If he does
not win.
Right. Because Donald Trump believes that he should be the ruler, the dictator of the United States of America. He actually is looking to change the Constitution. When Donald Trump jokes about 12 more years, as you'll see that in my upcoming podcast called Mea Culpa, I talk about that. He's not joking. Donald Trump doesn't have a sense of humor. So I want you to understand, when he says 12 more years, if he wins, he's going to automatically, day number one, start thinking how he can change the Constitution for a third term and then a fourth term, like what he said to President Xi and like he said to so many other people. It's why he admires the Kim Jong-uns of the world.
So there's a lot of predictive programming there, right? Now think about it. The person who comes in to save the day is going to come in and bring in peace, love, unity, one world. But before they can get to that, they need the person who's going to destroy everything. So hypothetically, what this could mean, I'm not saying this is going to happen. When I do some of these videos and I talk about this stuff, I'm talking about what I see. It's not a prediction. I'm not a prophet. Okay, this is me looking at news stories and patterns and thinking how something could play out. If Trump wins again via the selection, because it's a selection process. These people are chosen ahead of time. Nothing fits into what they want to do better than having Trump remain for 4 more years. If Trump was to change the Constitution, number one, it would cause more chaos amongst citizens, the left versus the right, which is really what it's about, the civil divide between the left and the right, between races, between genders, okay, all to bring about a one world government. If he was to do that, it is highly likely that the person who steps in to run against him for a potential third term, if this happens, would likely be Barack Obama. Nobody else would make more perfect sense, unless you're going to tell me it's like Dwayne Johnson or something else that they're hinting at. Nothing would make more sense, because we've seen these people coming and going like Biden and Hillary. They don't make sense like Barack Obama does. People have been clamoring for him since the election. We've seen Saturday Night Live. We've seen all these shows. They're begging for Obama, wishing Obama was still president. What the world would be like if Obama had a third term. There is a ton of predictive programming behind this stuff, and that's why I wanted to bring it up. It's just, as they say, food for thought, whatever that even means. But it's something to keep in the back of your mind, because everyone's obviously focused in on the election. I know a lot of people who listen still believe that this is a republic. That's fine. It's not a republic. I could be wrong, but I would bet anything pretty much on this not being a republic. Again, this is a science experiment. This is a psychological operation being run on the citizens in this country into thinking this is a republic where we have power, we control and run the government. They work for us. It's a total joke, anyone who believes that. Let's be real. They work for us. They have us all imprisoned in our homes right now and forcing us to wear masks if we go outside, so we can't even breathe. That's how ridiculous this has gotten. But think about how perfect sense that would make, because then it would line up, and then I wouldn't be surprised even in the slightest if Obama was indeed possibly the Antichrist, because the person who comes again and brings peace and one and unity, that person is likely to be the Antichrist. Now, obviously, I don't know. This hasn't been revealed to me. I feel like you'll know, all true Christians will know when this actually happens. I know people want to speculate and they want to guess. That's perfectly fine by me, but I'm not going to sit here and say 100% on anything because I don't know. I didn't have a vision. I didn't have a dream. Again, I'm not a prophet. I'm just a guy who watches and tries to read between the lines. So what I see potentially happening, and for people to keep their eye on, is exactly what Trump has been hinting at. The first term wasn't fair. He didn't get treated fairly. That he could potentially say, look, I'm gonna extend this to a third or fourth term. The liberals are incompetent. They're destroying America. You know, all this stuff. Oh, the economy's never been better. Right? So the right will buy into it. The right will be on board and say, yeah, because we don't want to get one of these, you know, Biden-type people, these creeps in, or Hillary in. But once he does that, if he does it, it opens the door for someone like Obama to return and to be the hero that these people cry out for, to save the world, even though in reality only Jesus can save the world. He already did save the world through dying for our sins. But these people will actually believe this entire charade that's been going on. These people believe that it's actually real, from the C-19 to all these funded protests and riots, to the psychological warfare we see on the news, the hatred between whites and blacks and everything else. This is all planned again. And that's why I put up the video a couple days ago about psychological operations in the military. Not a lot of people watch the video. You should watch the video, because it's important to know that this has been an attack on America, on American citizens, on our minds for a long, long time. And that's really what it's about. So that, to me, is something that could potentially play out. Again, we're a long ways from that. Biden could easily be the one they select. To me, it wouldn't make sense to have Biden be the one they select, because they don't want restored order yet. The person who restores the order is likely to be the one, the chosen Antichrist, or the born Antichrist. I shouldn't say chosen, the born Antichrist. It's not going to be, just some random person that didn't just create all this chaos just to sweep it under the rug. There's too much stuff still going on with the outbreak and everything else. There's too much stuff, and it's only going to get worse. And if Trump does return, that'll make it worse. And then just imagine if he does change the Constitution for a third term. And people will go crazy, and then suddenly you hear Obama say, I'm throwing my hat back in the ring to save the country. Oh, I could just hear people screaming at the rooftops, thrilled that Obama could be back. Because they don't even realize that they're just zombies under mind control. It's like pro wrestling. That's what it is. There's a feud between Trump and Obama. Oh, the birth certificate. He's not really an American citizen. They still beef all the time, talk crap about each other. Back and forth. That's all you hear about. It's like they're setting up a WrestleMania match. That's how ridiculous it is. And wouldn't that be funny if that was how it came down? Well, it wouldn't be funny. It would just seem so obvious at that point. But people will think it's just the way the wind blew, because, again, they think the citizens control this country when they don't. I want to remind everyone, please check out my website at callforanuprising.com. It's $2.99 a month. It's definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. I want to thank the Patreons and thank all you guys again for subscribing to the channel. Let me know what your thoughts are below. It's just a possibility. Just something that when I see some of these things, I feel like drawn to talk about it in a sense, because I see these signs. I don't want to make any predictions. Some idiot will comment, they're like, look, see, Biden won, or Trump maybe, gets picked again but doesn't do the third term thing. All right, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing and what could be a possibility to keep in mind, because they're hinting at it. That's why, not because I'm pulling it out of my rear end. They're openly talking about this, even Trump himself. So just remember that. Thank you guys again for listening. God bless all of you and your families.